Greetings, Batavia Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on Friday, June 30th, 2023. And I want to focus mostly today's program on the coming event in 4 days with the 4th of July fireworks. Kind of ironically, we've had somebody go on one of the computer channels and put out the message that Batavia was going to have their fireworks on July the 3rd, and that is totally erroneous. We don't know where that came from, who did it, but our staff and several other groups in town have been refocusing that yes, the fireworks are on the 4th of July in Batavia and they will be held on the 4th and are not on the 3rd or any other date. That's when they are, and the only thing that would change that would be a bad weather situation in which we would just then roll it to the next night. We've had to do that a couple of times, but not very recently. The thing that's interesting about the 4th of July fireworks is this will be the 72nd year that Batavia has fired these fireworks. And a moment of great admiration and pride in the community is, number one, we're paying a good tribute to the history and the birth of our country. But more interestingly, to our own internal life in Batavia, we have raised the funds, privately donations, since 1950 to pay for these fireworks. And so there's never been any money of tax dollar generation that has been put into paying for fireworks that have been fired into the sky. That's all been done so that we have a good thing going here, and we're trying to keep that tradition going. And we've been very successful, and we are continuing that this year. Now the expenses of the shows have risen quite rapidly, and you know, it's a multi-thousands of dollars show, but we've raised all the money this year, and I'm very proud to report that to everyone. But this year's show, as I say, will be we had to cancel it the year of the COVID, so there was 1 year that the show didn't get fired. So we've been doing this for 73 years, but only 1 year we couldn't fire it. So this will be the 72nd show that we will fire, and I'm very proud of the fact that this whole idea was created back in 1950 by the late Harold Peterson, and he was a member of the Batavia Fire Department, and he suggested to our then Fire Chief Bud Richter that, hey, why can't Batavia fire some fireworks off and keep people home and not on the busy highways, because back in those days there was a lot of comments about how many people were involved in accidents and deaths on holidays, and we were trying to keep people home. So that plus the desire of the VFW and the American Legion to pay some tribute and generate some patriotism in town, this whole thing came together. So we have that all started, and we have Harold Peterson to thank for that. And I stress his name because in our Batavian magazine this past week, it was let me know yesterday that I had put down Harold Peterson's name as Harold Anderson, and I don't know where that one came from, but it was there, and I certainly want to set the record straight that it was Harold Peterson was the gentleman who gets the credit for coming up for the fireworks idea. Batavia will do the show. Again, we'll be fired at 9:30. A new feature to the show this year, given what happened up in Highland Park a year ago with the shooter, and other things, the Batavia Police Department has acquired a drone, and we have already used it a couple times on emergency situations, but we're going to be flying a drone over that fireworks display for a couple of hours before it starts. So if you're out there and you see a low-flying little aircraft floating around, that's going to be the drone. And I just confirmed that with our chief that I could report that to everybody. There's nothing to hide, but some towns don't like to talk about it. But we're very pleased that we have one, and thank the community for the support in getting one. And we're going to be flying it over just to make sure there's no bad guy out there that wants to cause some problem. So we got that ready to go, and the show will be fired. And the police department's had a long time joke that when they do the 4th of July fireworks show, the moments after that generate the largest traffic jam in Batavia each year. And this year probably will be no different. And so we will be we're shutting down like Main Street and some of the streets around it for 20 minutes or so after the show to give all the pedestrians the ability to walk to their neighborhoods or walk to their cars or whatever, and then we will open up the street to traffic as soon as the folks clear off of it. And so that will hold some people back, but the police always note that if you want to see a traffic jam on Wilson Street, go down to Wilson and River Street about 10:15 on 4th of July, and you'll see the biggest traffic jam we've ever seen in Batavia. And this year should be no different. The other thing that we now have added to it is that we can, most of the merchants along Randall Road are cooperative and let people park in their parking lots out there, and many people tell me that's a good spot to view the fireworks from, is in those parking lots, because it's all fired there south of Main Street and the Mooseheart property, and so it's not over any houses or anything that could catch on fire. And we have annexed the Mooseheart property, as many of you may remember. That's been a few years ago that we did that. So the property right behind the West Side Fire Station and going west from the fire station, under the annexation agreement, calls for that area to be a community park. So it was our hope that even after the Mooseheart property is developed, and I think what they're looking at is maybe potentially a senior living community out there, that the area behind the fire station and that, which is where we fire the fireworks, will continue to be an open area, and we'll be able to do that. So I thank Mooseheart for their cooperative spirit in that idea. So the fireworks should be here for many years to come, hopefully, and we've got a great tradition here, and the Batavia Community Band is going to kick it off. And John Heath, the conductor, reportedly said that his most recent practice was one of the best he's ever had with any band he's ever done. So I'm suggesting that the music that's going to be offered that night prior to the beginning of the fireworks for about a 45-minute program is going to be very delightful for everybody to listen to. And I know many people that have parties at their house in the neighborhoods surrounding it, and then many of the people that are at the parties leave and walk over to the fireworks, and accommodations have been made for them to sit in a car or lay out a blanket or a chair or something, and so we're anticipating we're going to have a real good crowd. So I invite you all to come. This is Batavia's hopefully proud moment where we show our patriotic side, and it's something that Batavia should be very, very proud of, both in the past, of what we've done in the past and what we are going to do in the future. So that being said, I've kind of labored on about that, but I think there's a lot to talk about and a lot to be proud of. And please come out on 4th of July to West Main Street by Batavia High School. Find a place to hunker down and enjoy the show. And look forward to seeing many of you there. Appreciate your good efforts, and thanks for all the support Batavia's given that show to be able to again fire it without asking for any tax dollars. So have a good week, and I'll talk to you again soon.